Lizzie McGuire is a comedy series starring Hilary Duff that aired on the Disney Channel from 2001 to 2004. It was very popular, so Disney wanted to continue the show's success with a spin-off titled What's Stevie Thinking? It would have been about a girl named Stephanie Stevie Sanchez, who is the younger sister of Miranda Sanchez, connecting her to the original show. She would also have an animated version of herself following her throughout each episode. In 2005, a pilot was filmed and Selena Gomez tried out for the main role. After the pilot episode was pitched to Disney, they decided to greenlight Hannah Montana, and What's Stevie Thinking was cancelled. A few years later, Gomez would find her success with the show Wizards of Waverly Place. The only footage that can be seen of What's Stevie Thinking is a Selena Gomez audition tape that is shown inside of a documentary. American Dog was an animated Disney movie that was written by Chris Sanders, who created Lilo and Stitch. The film was planned for release in 2007, but Sanders and Disney had major disagreements about the movie, as it was considered too surreal by executives at Disney. He refused to change what he had written for American Dog and ultimately left the film's production, quit Disney, and went on to join DreamWorks Animation. The concept of this project would be reworked into Bolt and released under Disney in 2008. The plot for the movie was later explained. It follows Henry, a TV famous dog who played a secret agent, who is now stranded in Nevada and has to experience the real world for the first time. Today, what can be seen of American Dog are a few pieces of concept art and about 10 seconds of animation that was showed off in 2005. Katamari Damacy is a third-person puzzle action game that was released in March of 2004 on the PlayStation 2. The game was a great success and has spanned a few sequel titles throughout the years, one of which was an online multiplayer RPG type game titled Katamari Damacy Online. It was released in 2010 and was exclusive to players who lived in South Korea. The game featured new characters and items that had never been seen in the series. Fans enjoyed the game for 2 years before it was shut down in March of 2012. What can be seen today of Katamari Damacy Online is concept art and gameplay footage. However, there is currently no way to play the game and it's considered lost. Just for Kicks was a comedy drama show that ran on the T-Nick block from April 9th to September 10th in 2006. The series was produced by Whoopi Goldberg and was about a group of girls that play on a soccer team in New York City. The group shares a passion for the sport and the show involves classic high school drama. After one season containing 13 episodes, Just for Kicks was cancelled. Due to the show only having one season and never having any reruns on Teen Nick, it fell into obscurity and was lost for years. Fans really enjoyed Just for Kicks. It was heavily discussed online and gained a cult following, becoming the most rare Teen Nick show. In 2016, the full series was uploaded in 2 parts to YouTube, finally putting this piece of lost media to rest. The Adventures of Hyperman is an animated miniseries that aired from 1995 to 1996 on CBS. It was based on an IBM computer game that holds the same name. Story for the show centers around Hyperman, who is an alien superhero along with his dog, Stud Puppy. They are sent to Earth to be its protector. Hyperman teams up with genius Dr. Emma C. Squared as they defend the planet from villains. Each episode was split into 2 segments and would consist of a pause in the plotline to feature a quick educational moment. The show ran for one season consisting of 13 episodes and 25 segments in total. A website for the series was created titled Hyperman Online, and even a direct-to-video movie was planned. Conversations about the film went mute, and it never even started production. Due to Hyperman never receiving a home media release or any rerun time, the show fell into obscurity. 2 segments can be viewed in Spanish. Other than that, the entire show is considered lost. I was able to find 2 CBS commercial segments that featured Hyperman. Seeing as how the show aired over 20 years ago and didn't have much of a following, I'm not sure if these episodes will ever be found. Daddio is a sitcom that aired on NBC in the year 2000. It stars Michael Chiklis, who is well known for being the Thing in the Fantastic Four films, focusing on him being a stay-at-home dad who finds himself in comedic situations. Season 1 produced only 5 episodes, and a full 18 episodes were created for Season 2. The show suffered from low ratings and less than favorable reviews from critics, with one person stating the show was simply dreadful. This caused Daddio to be shut down after the 4th episode of Season 2. After reading through a number of reviews about the sitcom, it seems fans were very middle of the road about this show. Some people really enjoyed the show, while others couldn't stand it. Out of the 9 episodes that aired, only 2 can be viewed currently. Daddio was shown on Disney UK in 2003, and viewers online do seem to remember it, so there is a chance of this being found. The Dark Knight is the sequel to Batman Begins. Released on July 18th of 2008, the film was a huge success, bringing in over $1 billion at the box office. Storylines and characters were written to perfection in The Dark Knight, and with any great hero movie usually comes a fun video game. This was confirmed by Gary Oldman, who played Jim Gordon, in an interview one day before the film's release. He stated that the game was in the works and he would be doing voiceovers, also mentioning that it took a tremendous amount of effort to get Batman's gliding looking fluid. Sources said the project began in 2007 and was being developed by Pandemic Studios and Electronic Arts. Set to be released on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, the game only had a few short months of steady progress before running into problems. The first big problem is that developers were instructed to make a Batman game, only to be informed months later that it had to be a tie-in to the movie, causing most of the project to be scrapped and redone at that point. Many different engine updates only made production more confusing. An HDR lighting solution was implemented into the game and became a major issue as it crashed the development hardware. Even these plans would fall through due to the game looking awful and being nowhere near completion. Decisions were also being made behind the developer's back, so nothing was getting done right. The project was pushed back to meet the DVD release in December. After missing the December deadline, Batman the Dark Knight video game was cancelled. Pandemic Studios Brisbane shut down, and 20 employees lost their jobs that day. All we can see of the game is level designs and a short action sequence. I am a big fan of Heath Ledger's Joker, and I would have really liked to play this game because his voiceovers were to be included. The build of the game is currently lost, and because of the development studio being shut down, it may be gone forever. Emeril is a comedy sitcom that aired on NBC in 2001. Running for 7 episodes, the show revolves around famous chef Emeril Lagasse and his home life. The pilot episode was poorly received by viewers, so producers made a decision to change the focus of the show, now showing the day-to-day workings of being a television chef. This was a great decision in my opinion, making Emeril more unique and adding room for new storylines. However, this couldn't save the show from failure, and it was cancelled after the 7th episode was shown, leaving 4 episodes that would never air. One major problem on set was that Lagasse was so used to ad-libbing that he couldn't stick to the script. Creator of the show, Linda Bloodworth Thomason, said of Lagasse, quote, "He was expected to become an actor overnight, and it just didn't work. After the show's cancellation, no reruns of Emeril were ever shown, and the show became lost. Episodes couldn't be viewed anywhere, but finally, 13 years later in 2014, 9 episodes were uploaded to YouTube. Because of the initial 7-episode run, this leads me to believe reruns of the show were aired at some point. Episodes The Retreat and My Grandmother's Cornbread have never surfaced and may never be found. Spyro is a platform video game series that had an amazing run on the original PlayStation. From 1998 to 2000, we received Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon. These games were truly groundbreaking and would set the stage for future platformers. If you've ever owned a PlayStation, then you may remember the Purple Dragon, but something many people don't know, a CGI animated film was planned for release in December of 2009 titled The Legend of Spyro 3D. It was based on The Legend of Spyro, which was a 2006 reboot of the first 3 games. The film would start off with main villain the Dark Master destroying a temple that was holding a very special egg that only hatches every 10 generations. After being saved by an egg guardian named Ignitus, the egg would then flow down a river. Eventually hatching, a purple dragon would emerge. It's Spyro. He was discovered by a family of dragonflies, but once he got older, Spyro learns that the dragonflies were not his true parents, and he goes on a quest to find where he is really from. Now joined by the young dragonfly Sparks, Spyro rescues other dragons along the way and eventually runs into a powerful dragon named Cinder. There is a big problem. Cinder is trapped and controlled by a red crystal around her neck that was permanently placed by the Dark Master. Using new skills that have been learned throughout Spyro and Sparks' long journey, Spyro destroys the red crystal, freeing Cinder and all dead dragons from the Dark Master's control. The film would end with Spyro restoring peace to the world. Even though The Legend of Spyro 3D was in production for almost 2 years, it wasn't ready in time for Christmas of 2009, so the release date was pushed back to April of 2010. 4 months would pass and there was no news about the movie. Finally, at the end of April, Activision announced The Legend of Spyro 3D was cancelled, giving an explanation that they plan to take Spyro in a new direction. This new direction would be Skylanders Spyro's Adventure, released in 2011. The game was very successful, so although it wasn't a bad decision, I still would have really liked to see a Spyro film. Daredevil was a third-person action beat-em-up game that was set for release on the PlayStation 2 in 2003. It would also have an open-world element to free roam. Developed by 5000 Feet, the project started as a low-budget title that would go through the best moments and battles of Daredevil. Tim Page, president of 5000 Feet, was contacted by Sony and informed about their upcoming Daredevil movie. This was great news as they increased the game's budget and made plans to release it alongside the film. It would now be ported to the Xbox and PC as well. The game's story would begin with Daredevil thinking Kingpin has been killed. This causes a gang war in the streets of Hell's Kitchen. Also, some parts of the plot are based on the comic story Elektra Lives Again. Matt Murdock's business partner Foggy Nelson gets kidnapped, so Daredevil and Elektra team up to find him. The two fight crime throughout the city and eventually find Foggy. Daredevil then learns that Kingpin was never assassinated, and he only faked his death to turn the city against each other. After this realization, Daredevil goes on a mission to Kingpin's penthouse to finish him for good. This leads to a life-or-death brawl inside Kingpin's office. This is all that was revealed about the game's storyline. At this time, a new grinding system was implemented into the game where you would be able to increase your stats. After only a few solid months of development, Sony and Marvel began to have creative disagreements. Soon after, new workers were assigned to work on the project. They created a new engine for the open world parts of the game, but ran into a major problem. A main element inside the game is called Shadow World. This is a tactic that Daredevil uses to locate and sense the fear of nearby enemies. The problem was, the new engine did not work well at all with Shadow World. This caused developers to drop the open world aspect altogether and rework the game into a third-person brawler. As time went on, Marvel and Sony would disagree on so many ideas that no progress was being made. Deadline for the game was set for February of 2003, but it wasn't met. In a last effort to save the game, developers were given until summer of the same year to finish the project. Despite being given a second chance and the game already near completion, several developers made a decision to leave 5,000 Feet. Following this, Marvel refused to approve the game with the reason being, they thought 5,000 Feet chose Sony's idea over Marvel's. Just like that, Daredevil was cancelled. A game that was full of potential and would have been a must-have on the PlayStation 2, gone forever. For years, no video footage of the game was available, but recently a video surfaced showing a build of the game. It looks amazing, and I would love to have this in my collection. Unfortunately, no prototypes are known to exist, and employees from 5,000 Feet have never spoke much about the game. From obscure sitcom shows to cancelled games, that is 10 interesting pieces of lost media. If you would like to help support the channel, visit patreon.com/StayUpLateProductions, and there you can join the Stay Up Late spaceship. I'll be posting exclusive videos and ad-free content as well. Thanks for tuning into the video, subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this, and until next time, Stay Up Late Productions.